Yeah. I wanted to first get into my petty old self by saying, am I the only one who feels a certain way like when you leave a job, Ibra, novayo, nga wavayo, ebintu si birungi. And then when you leave, you see them sink into a worse position and state than they were in when you were there. Have you ever felt like that? I play too much. I was just looking at my former employer and what's happening on their television, and I'm like, damn, it was that bad. It was so bad. I had Miles Ramirez coming to run Urban or the oh Jesus. You know what? That's besides the point. My name is Tina Fierce One, and these are my random thoughts. But let's first get it together. This episode is proudly sponsored by Nutri-Cologne Cleanser. Now, I've been seeing most of you come into my DMs asking me for information. Guess what? She decided to renew her contract with us advertising, so I'm here to give you all the deets. So this episode is proudly sponsored by Nutri-Cologne Cleanser. In regards to what has happened this week, a lot has happened this week, and I know for a fact I cannot capture all of it, but let me just give you a sneak preview into what happened this week or what we're going to be discussing. Journalists were beaten by the army. And which other one was more important? All the court proceedings between Honorable Santamu and the government of Uganda. But hey, let's first pace together. Let's start with the journalists. Lwaliddi bazanno babatimpulanga batera nnyo bakuba bwe bamala obbakuba ne babagamba manti sorry, we shall not do it again. So the first time it actually happened is when we started the hashtag, you know. The first time I saw it happening to journalists when they were beaten within the confines of them trying to do their job. And we let it slide. There was like a small hashtag there, journalism is not a crime, rah, rah, rah. We tried, nothing went down. Until this most recent one. So, what's his name? Tumuita kati tumuita tuche Bobi Wine. Mbona ngenda muita His Excellency, but never ansonyewe. I love anarchy. Anyway, so Bobi Wine and his entourage decided to go and drop documentations that prove that, you know, there are very many human rights violations going on, abducted people, killed people, tortured people. So he stands up and he's like, we're going to the UN Commission and we're going to tell them because nobody's hearing us, right? So Bobby does his thing. Nathan Kotambula, Kololo, of all the places you people could think of having drama. You took it to the gates of Kololo. Kololo! Do you know Kololo? First of all, me, I grew up in Gabatuti stage into Chimombo. Kololo is filled with so many safe houses. All those houses that you see in Kololo are safe houses. So naturally, I'm terrified of Kololo. Anyway, they make their way there. So the journalists are just coming to do their job, you know, report on what's happening. Bobby says he's going to do this, he's taking it here. Never again, mama musajja yalekulira ready top. Hey, Bakubabali. I was like, wow, people got to office limping, jumping, crying, cursing. People were on Twitter, all these acclaimed journalists were on Twitter with all their hashtag, journalism is not a crime. How can you beat people like this in broad daylight? What about the ones who are in the dark, blah, blah, blah. They made some noise. I was sitting at my house with a glass of water. Do you know why? Do you know why I was sitting with a glass of water? Just think about this. When we were going into the very highly political season of this country's time, that was during the elections, most of these journalists actually took on the mantra of saying, I choose peace, which is good. It was beautiful. Everybody to each their own. But now, it just becomes laughable when you decide to complain now because the army did not choose peace. Isn't this what we were telling them? Isn't this exactly what we're telling them? Y'all always want to just shut up when things tebiba kwatako. Then when biba kwatako, nemujukiro kugamba, oh, the government is bad, oh, the army should rejoin. But we've been telling you these things. For me, actually, if anything, two sets of people who I feel are not of consequence in my world. I don't know about you, but in my world and in the struggle of the world that I'm in politically or for my country, two people that I know do not play key roles. They do not play no role. Musicians, that is musicians, artists, celebrities, bona, socialites, and Ugandan journalists. Because Ugandan journalists are the easiest people to corrupt. I'm saying this because I worked in a media house for 5 years before, and I worked in another before. I have been around these media houses. Y'all are the easiest people to corrupt. So when the hashtag to choose peace came, you actually didn't want to hear what these hooligans were saying. You were just choosing peace. How does it feel to choose this peace, Badia? Chiri chitia. Chikola. Because we expected these same journalists to be the ones, like I said, they are our intermediary. They are supposed to be the people who broker our peace. Basically, they touch best with the people and with the people in power. So, since y'all chose peace, and peace didn't go your way, what next? We're going to keep journalism is not a crime in UG. This is what's funny. Baba kuba kuno mwezi ne baba silisamu mwezi gumune mudayo ne baba kuba ogudako ne mugubusa ne baba. It's like a very, very bad relationship that they're in. But hey, as I was still going through that, by the way, I felt sorry. Baba kuba, it is really sad. It's not laughable. But hey, coming from me, child, y'all should have secured this future. But most importantly, y'all should have secured your peace. So Wambuza, where did it go wrong for me? After I saw all those atrocities, after I saw what the journalists were saying and what, you know, the ones who were hurt and watching all the videos, the next day, these same journalists are called by the CDF of, that's of course UPDF Army, and the UPDF spokesperson goes on Twitter and she also puts out her own version of what happened. Now, according to UPDF, they say that the biggest reason why they get into such clashes with journalists, apparently journalists do not dress like journalists. Y'all don't have those press jackets, those press tags, so they couldn't tell if you were a journalist or not. And in my head, I'm like, Otyo, is there a person go sembelero kumukuba batuni nate yanjula mbunze gundi? Ibra. Ndetewane ngatonji kukube kumutwenzi jenga ngenda kukuba toja kungamba naye guy. Nze Ibra. There's not a person who won't say I'm a journalist. Because that is the one thing we know. We always know we have free pass into hard situations because we will just say I'm a journalist and you finna understand that because it's only us who want to go into such sticky situations. Anyway, she says that is where the biggest miscommunication and mishap happened. So, but nonetheless, they go on to say they will cater to the medical bills of those affected and they are sorry. I'm like, wow. Do you remember when you would mess up so bad and then your mom or dad would punish you? Baba malo kube migo mama ona akuita kusaini nagambo yagala kuli acho. Kuwa sweetie. Sirika wonno. Hey! I was in stitches. So, next thing I know, they are calling this press conference or media presser between the CDF of UPDF and journalists. And lo and behold, the same journalists they had just beaten a day ago, or they stood up, or they showed up for that presser. They stood up, they went and attended it. I'm like, maybe it's me who doesn't understand diplomacy because here's my thing. Since we're being diplomatic, why didn't the CDF and the spokesperson hold this particular press conference days before and alert the members like, hey, yo, we know tomorrow Bobby agenda kutwalayo byatwalayo ku UN. We just want to say, if you're press, please wear your credentials. If you're just omuntu wawansi, start clear. We're not going to be here for the drama. Why didn't they give that presser before the actual event? It's so funny. In my country, we are good at dealing with after the event. We are so good at it. So anyway, they sat down. They also talk about all these things, promises, high and below. We won't do this again. And Wagaije akatemumanyize bwe mbagamba mbu ki Uganda kinyuma. Mubi akusaga. Je mulabire ennaku eno ennaku ekusesa. Anyway, those are your journalists. After all those events, though, there's something I noticed about particular journalists after those events. Because yes, many were enraged. They were enraged because you touch one of ours, you're touching all of us. So, Canary has been on a tweeting spree. And everybody is just trying to tell him, Canary, calm down. You did shake the president's hand at some point. We have seen the photos. Why are you coming at the regime that hard? Oh, he has been dropping bombs. He's been dropping facts. I'm like, okay, finally. It took an ass whooping. It took an ass whooping in broad daylight. And all that disrespect for Ugandan journalists to wake up and smell the coffee. It took you that long? If anything, a Ugandan citizen shouldn't even be shouting human rights violation. It's the journalist supposed to be shouting it because the journalist sees it. You report on these stories, these people come to you. If there was a voice supposed to echo any other louder than that one, okay, the citizen. Anyway, baba timpudde emigo ne badda mu layini katulinde gye banaaba timpula olulala bagenda bakubirawa tubuulire because it seems you like this shit. Zero solidarity. Do you know what would happen if the CDF had actually called for a meeting and all the journalists within the country would have just said, nope, we done had it with your apologies. And this is what I keep telling about people. I'm tired of apologies. It's what I was saying about Salvador. Whenever he does something stupid, he says something stupid, then after saying it, he wants to offer us a 4-page letter apology. Or who else? In my mind, I was not right. I was no. We have read way too many apologies. But anyway, we hope muli bulungi. Did they get the message? Yeah, what was the message? Were they supposed to take a message or they were supposed to bring a message? We don't know. Everything got lost in a beating. Jesus. What Charlie? Nga police evaayo. Mubuvumu obungi. No fear, no feather. They come and tell us that the reason why most drawn cars don't have number plates is because, I kid you fucking not, is because mbweze motoka baba zishipinga zichirako bu number plate yobutono so bu number plate yobu bugwa. I was like, okay, now I know Enanga has been teaching a couple of people to learn how to lie, but damn, he's doing a pretty fine job at it. Like, this student right here just excelled. Enanga, if you are the sensei, oh, the student surpassed the teacher already. How you gonna explain that to me? Like, so, Ibra, tugenda kwa mubondi, nga tuvudde wano. Tugenda mu bondi y'emmotoka. Beba shipping emmotoka sicho. Njagala batulage drone zaabwe zonna oba zirinako obunamba plate bwabwe. Oba bonna bwagwa then bwe tuva ku ekyo. Njagala tunoonye buli Munnayuganda alina drone atubuulire drone ye yamuyisa etya nga number plate zigwagwagwa. Uganda. Yes. And this was a big wig in police. A big shot in police. And he sat there, cameras flickering, in front of the masses, the citizens of this here country, and he said, well, I don't know why y'all is terrified of these cars. Most of them that don't have number plates and tinted black windows, it's just because they lose their plates. Both plates? Hey bro, what are the chances that you lose your front plates and your back plates and you can still drive without being bothered on the streets of Kampala? Have you met our traffic officers? But if you live in Uganda, you know it. Our traffic officers are corrupt. They are moving corruption. They are open white corruption. So you want to tell me that these traffic officers who stop you for just having a broken taillight are not going to notice that you have a dark tinted minivan with no license plates on, moving on the streets of Kampala. What are the odds? What are the odds? Anyway, like I said to Uganda Chinyuma, he stood by it, by the way. In that same speech, he said they will definitely handle people who are misusing social media to what? Yo, at this point, I don't even know what misuse of social media is anymore. This government has thrown around that term so much, I don't know. Like, at times I feel when I'm using too many emojis, they might come for me. Because that could be social media misuse, isn't it? Just think about it. So I'm like, what messages are made? Like, what can they specify? Like, we're not supposed to put up what messages? I'm done being pissed off with this country. I'm done. I feel like everything is just going to be the way it is. I'm done. I'm done. That is what they say. So if you're on social media, you better come correct, because at any one given point, they finna come for you and tell you like, okay, this was wrong. And you're like, what? I posted 5 laughing emojis and 1 FU. Well, it goes according to the man. Oh, in the world of celebrities, since y'all were all complaining, Tina, you don't talk about celebrities anymore. When I was being kakulika baby nga nakugamba luli. Ibra. Mwana watata njagala bino ebintu tubyogeremu gwe musajja gwe nyina ku stage. Nange njagala ombuuze byagala okumbuuza. Akabina kavinka wakalazi. Akabina kavinka mwakalabye baana mmwe. Mama nze nyabula nnyanya. Vinka waffe vinka. Vinka gwe twayitanga Damaani. Vinka, dati Vinka. Mujjukira Vinka nga yakajjanga muyita musajja. Ate mwebuzabuza nze mbijjukira. You used to call her man. Chane came back with hips and a bat. And not just any bat. She came back with a bubble bat. You know, there's a bat. And then there's that bat when someone stands in the side view. It has that everlasting sea, like... I looked at Vinka in that dress, I'm like, girlfriend, these babies will give you an ass. So wait, do you think, Ibra, if I have 3 more babies, I could finally get to whose ass? Winnie? Winnie's ass? Now we have the same ass size. Who? Onomwala wagundi bamitani onomwana w'omugagga yeeyita Kardashian we Uganda. Nadia. Of course, she got hers from the surgeon, but imagine if I had 3 more babies following Vinka's footsteps. I don't know what she used, but she might tell us. I could have me a big old bat. And we all know when you have a bat, you don't suffer. But damn, Vinka. Damn. I almost wanted to ask her, are you using the same type that Ntale was using? But I felt that would be disrespectful because damn. Omusajja akuzizza omukazi. When a man says, I want to grow you, he grows you. Aish. Anyway, that was all for Vinka. I'm just not going to even... but I feel like she's happy. She looks happy. She's glowing. And she's understood how to work around her celebrity. She keeps her things to herself. Only see when we want to see, which is good. Tuba tuchali eyo nga tuli mu Vinka tumusanyukidde akabina ke ne baby. Nezireeta Rema ne Hamza banaye bo bagamba bajja tulemerako balinga ekiku. Ekiku ate ekiku nga kiri mu kifo ky'otasobola mmanya nga makkati g'omufaaliso. Ne bw'obinoonya kigendayo munda mu mufaaliso nekizaala mba muli awo nga mulaba ebiku bingi. They took a minute out to show us what they did on Valentine's Day. Aww. And the videos there, Ibra Kalavie. For the first time, you people, I saw Rema's legs. Has anyone ever seen Rema's legs? Anyone? Like Entumbwe. Have you ever seen them? I saw them. Don't ask me what I'm thinking, but I saw them. Of course, she still had body socks on, but okay. Why am I like this? Hey. Anyway, they celebrated Valentine's and they felt they needed to put us in. And everybody was like, oh my goodness, he just spent on her. I'm sorry. Let me sour grape, because anyway, I didn't even have Valentine's, but let me sour grape. Why do you people gas up these people on social media? Walai nalaba ka postinga mwana atadeko caption Hamza does a multi-million Valentine's celebration for Rema. I'm like, ooh, child, take me. Where did they go? Seychelles, Mauritius, where? That looked like a cheap hotel room. That was a cheap-ass cake on the table. And they spared themselves on how many roses to use. Did you see the roses, the petals? Those are not nearly enough for the love these two have been showing us. Yeah, I'm going to be petty today. I'm going to be petty. Because I believe our celebrities need to learn. If you're going to show something like that, do it like the way they really do it. Did you see what Michael B. Jordan did for Tatonic? Lori Harvey. Did you? Did you see what Fisher and Ciara did? Rather, Ciara and Russell did? And then you come and you show us with 3 candles, 5 rose petals, a cheap cake. And she's all like, oh my God! Like as though they brought you a yacht? Calm down, Vadia Namwe. And then there's just something about, I think Hamza manyimukazi we bambi chemwagalako yakoze celebration naye badde tasobola kwerabira obutalo obwali mu kiteeteeyi kya Rema. Did you see them in the video? Like there was just one section ngeriko obutala bwa Christmas. Buli obwali mu kiteeteeyi kyendoze ekiteeteeyi bwe bamala okwanjula ngakikomya bweka. Anyway, I just said I want to be petty. You can hate me if you want to. It won't be news. Tuba chali awo bino ebintu nange nsanga bisange mbaleete yabireetezi. So Bobby Wine was gifted a car, a bulletproof car. Who gifted it? Yes, but you know that the government will say that those were just to get people. They gifted him a bulletproof car. Now it looked good and all of that. As they were gifting him that car, I then see photos on social media of trailers coming in with armored tanks covered up. I'm like, wait, is y'all trying to tell us something? So Bobby Wine gets a bulletproof car. The state is shipping in tanks. When did you ever need a tank as Uganda? Wait, where are we still fighting? Are we still in Somalia? But if they were going to Somalia, don't you think they would just go straight to Somalia? Ngenda jija, nzija. Tuba tukyali awo. Nga tumaze okulaba ezo tanka ze bali okuleeta nga bazibisa. I'm like, wait, I have never seen. The last tanks I saw, if you grew up in Bugolobi, in the flats, there is those last flats, I think block 21, there was that old tanker that we all used to play in. That is the only tank I know, but I am seeing them. I'm like, okay, there's no message. He got a car, they got cars, good. Emmeri n'ebiyingiramu. Emmeri yasooka obiyingiramu. Emmeri yerudde. Kati story y'emmeri. Kanje batandikire. Emmeri ey'Amerika. A USS something. I don't know which one it is, but you know them. Those naval ships. So it docks at the port in Mombasa. It's in Mombasa. Ugandans catch wind that there is an American naval ship that is docked in Mombasa or Kenya, one of them. And for some reason, Emeri newaba yawadaba na Uganda excitement. Sija bagamba subi. Excitement. How do you know it was exciting? I took a border on Friday. Yeah. I was just coming from my house to like it was like a 5-minute ride. I just wanted to go and get some fruit. So I sit on the border. And this border guy was just telling me, Mary wajirabye, bizibu byaffe byonna bigenze. Konze Mary chi, kalangala, MV kalangala, which one? Nangamba nedde Mary y'Amerika. Ne mugamba soko binyumize. Yo fam, I thought I have a vivid imaginations. Ugandans, you have vivid imaginations. Guy yambulidde nga we balina SWAT team, SEAL team, zayingidde da Uganda, balina bye bachi. I'm like, woo! Now, if there's anything we know about Americans, when they want to be covert, they're gonna be covert. They're not going to show up and announce their presence. Haven't you watched the movies? That's all we got by the way. That's all we can go with, the movies. You think they're going to announce themselves like that? But no, not Ugandans. Social media was a wash. Emery to say, bagenda tununula, baba nunula muchi. Emery. Yavuse Emery. So according to Ugandans, they believe Emery inabe yalese. Abagenda okukola just simanyi. I don't even want to go into that. Tuba tukyali awo. Ebyo byonna ebisatu mubiteeke into consideration, right? Then the EU is threatening sanctions on the country. Reason, lots of human rights violations. Next thing we know, in comes the president to meet with the EU guys. Hey! I think the Bazungu who give us money are too kind. I think they are too kind. I think these donors are too kind because we are playing by our own rules. I watched the president of this sovereign state, sovereign. Look at this Bazungu and tell them, just because we signed treaties and we have guidelines does not mean you should interfere in our problems as a country. We can handle them. I think it is just, what is it? It is actually just discriminatory messages that you don't have information too. That is the only problem. I think we're just lost here in it. Is you're not getting the right information, but you condemned me even before you could call me in to sit. I was watching the whole crap like, okay. And then he had the audacity to ask I can't say the word here. Drone eyinza okunjima naye mukirowoozeeko kigambo kinene kivundu ate kiva ku ntobo y'omutima gwange. So he turns and he asks Sam Kutesa, you're the lawyer, explain. And Sam is going like, yeah, you see, there are treaties, but then I'm like, okay, that's a valid point. You see, when you're watching that clip, if you are of sound mind and of understanding, you're going to take two things from it. One, Museveni still likes being the Pan-Africanist. He claims he's a Pan-Africanist. Two, what is the second one? I was even lost in train of thought. Two, I just felt there is a certain condescending that comes with my president whenever they tell him that the people are saying otherwise. Oba kitegeera like kulinga okunyooma nze nenzija ne nkugamba gundi ankubye, right? Omuntu ngamba nawe akukubyemu kati nituula tulina kyotugamba bali babakuba dda ne babamenya ebigere gwoli wano. I feel like that's the game he plays with us, the citizens. When the citizens stand up and they say we don't want this, and then another party that he's probably answerable to comes up, then he plays it down like, nah, you're just getting, misinformation. And I always like the way he always uses Idi Amin Dada as an example of all the wrong things to do politically. But what baffles me though, I recently had the chance of looking at the establishments that Mr. Amin Dada actually put up, regardless of his ways as a tyrant and, dictator. It's sad to say this man actually had the country at heart. Because during Amin's time, can you believe, Mwabatenyo, that during Amin's time, we used to actually be donors? Let me play back. You see how the UK is a donor? They give us donor aid. During Amin's time, we were giving that donor aid to countries like Saudi Arabia. Do you dig what I'm saying? And right now, we can't even give Saudi anything apart from our children to go and work. That's all we could give. Anyway, he stood by his words. He's being the Pan-Africanist. If you ask me, I am honestly tired of African leaders always trying to hide their ish behind being Pan-Africanist. Because if you look into that word entirely, to its entirety, ain't no African leader who is a Pan-Africanist. Nah, fam. All these African leaders scream we're Pan-Africanists, but they are the first person to sell out their country for cheap. If you tell me you love this country so much, why are you putting it in so much debt? If you tell me you love this country so much, why are we in so many deals with China that at some point China is finna own us? Oh, it already owns us. You see, if you ask me who I thought a Pan-Africanist was, y'all are going to hate me for this. But yo, I believe Muammar Gaddafi was actually a Pan-Africanist. I believe it. I do. That he wanted to start up his own everything. He didn't want to depend on the West for anything. Now, for all of you who know the games that are played behind the curtains in politics, you could decide to call yourself a Pan-Africanist leader in Uganda or Kenya or wherever it is. But to the man who pays your bills, to the man who funds your budget, to the man who puts in all this money for all these tiny, tiny things that you as a country cannot afford to do. Or you ain't no Pan-Africanist. So when I see all these African leaders start to tell us, I think the last Pan-Africanists we had all died. We had the likes of Thomas Sankara. We had the likes of, what's his name? I keep forgetting him. We've had a few. But when I look at all the African leaders now who scream we're Pan-Africanists, no, they're just a bunch of thugs who are seated there keeping watch of their hoard. They could let you go to hell for all they care. Case in point, look at your lives. Look at them. You're in a country that could donate aid to an Arab country years back. But you're in this country now and you can't even afford to get one job. We don't even have a minimum wage. Somebody made me understand the bigger picture and why Africa is going to stay the way it is. China pretty much owns, I can't even count how many countries China owns. But here's the funny thing. China went through the worst famine ever for years. They were a broke nation. And when they picked themselves up and they were asked their thoughts on it, they said they will never, ever be at a disadvantaged point in their lives as a whole nation like they were in that famine. So they stood up, they amped up. And as we speak it, when we're counting superpowers, we're counting China, we're counting America, we're counting the British people, right? So you come and tell me you're a Pan-Africanist. You come and tell me the EU has no right to come and barge into the states, into the issues of a sovereign state, regardless of the fact that these treaties that were written have particular things you're supposed to follow. And I also do understand when the president comes out and says, yes, you're supposed to witness, you're supposed to evaluate, but you rush into condemnation. Because he feels that they condemn them very fast. Because the issue of lurking sanctions on your head as a country is not sexy, especially for a country in debt like this. So anyway, he went in there, he did his thing, they say that, he said that. In my mind, I'm like, why is all of this happening, Ibra? I mean, again, make it make sense. There's so much happening in such a small time. The elections happened. What happened during the elections happened. What EC did, it did. What Bobby Wine is doing, he is doing. My question though is, why is there so much going on? Why are they shipping in tons of fighting ammunition? You know, why is the EU all of a sudden going like, oh, fam, it can't just be about the November riot? And by the way, speaking of those November riots, Mr. President, next time you want to point or to paint a vivid image for anybody with questions, I don't think it's right for you to lie. Ibra, did you watch him? He blatantly said they were chasing security operatives with pangas, hammers. I was like, Mr. President, which clips did you watch? Because we the citizens who were in town. We didn't see no hammers. We didn't see no pangas. All we saw was guns. That's what we saw. And I bet you the EU saw that too, because those videos went viral. Come on, it was a full-fledged hashtag that went viral down to Nigeria, and it caught, man. And he said it's like they had pangas, Even that chick they shot who was just video tapping from 5 floors up. And the officer who was down on the floor saw her and turned the gun and shot bullets, had a panga. Even that chick who was shot, who was just trying to take food to a client, they had a hammer. Okay. That boy whose legs got amputated, he had what? A panga. The one thing I just hate is when people play down other people's pain. That's the worst thing that can happen to me. Playing down a person's pain and boiling it down to make them a statistic. Dear Mr. President, please don't make Ugandan citizens just be a statistic. Because now that's what you've turned them into. Every time he's reading so the abductees were 35, 22, 4, all I'm hearing is a statistic. I don't hear empathy. I don't hear remorse. I don't hear compassion. I don't hear all the things that a government is supposed to feel for its citizens that elect it and put it in power and pay it taxes to actually help them run this shithole called the country. I don't feel that. I've never felt it. By this running government. We are beating you for your own safety. Before they beat up these journalists this time, last time Machola came is like, we shall beat you journalists for your own safety. Anyway, never really so. Why is everybody getting themselves ready? Ibra, don't you feel like there are two parties getting ready? And we, the citizens, we are now in fear of being collateral damage. Like, yes, I don't understand why they feel they have to give Bobby Wine an armored car. Because we've all seen how they treat that man. We've all seen that. But then again, because things are pole now, someone will be like, well, it's not just about that. His life is constantly in danger. I get that. He needs an armored car. I need an armored car. Ibra, do you need an armored car? I need an armored car too. We all need armored cars, so he's entitled to get that one. But then again, what I don't understand, why is the state bringing in tanks? Like we are used, they bring Zidia Mamba. This is Mamba to Azimanyira. Baba kajipaintinga blue ngaita wongeringa ngomkazo mwe. Ogambe Mamba hiyo bajires. Agenda tuko batia gas. Esigadele kwa tetaka. But these are real tanks. Broad daylight, I'm like, whoosh. So can you please tell us, the citizens who don't want to be collateral damage, what the fuck is going on in both camps, all camps? FDC and your plan B, Bobby and your plan B, Sevo and your government. We, the citizens, just don't want to be collateral damage. Don't you think, Ibra, it would be so nice if we got Muzei, we got the FDC people, we got Bobby Wine, we got all these guys, and just tubatwale nambole. The conversation will start around peace talks, which both have refused to have. And if the peace talks fail, I suggest we do it the old school way. Fight to the death. Whoever wins takes the damn country. Just don't make the citizens collateral damage. We ain't got no shit to do with your politicking. All we want is a good meal, a good education, a job, sustainability. Simple things, small things. So I think we should go back to those old days when men dealt with their problems like men. Chani chaguni. Because now this is, I beg. I beg. And then what kills me, the whole thing with Bobby Wine going to court for the election malpractice and that petition going on, is how he's the chief justice, Odolo. Mr. Odolo comes out and he's like, since you already believe that it is a biased judgment going to come from us, go figure out with your plan B. I'm like, wait, did we do a different type of law in Uganda? Because I thought we are still following the Brits. How you finna tell me? So the whole controversy for me comes like this. Bobby Wine and his team say there's some things that they wanted to add into the petition. The Supreme Court comes out and says, no, you cannot add in, but you can change it. In my head, stupidly, I'm like, so what if I tell you I am not adding in, I am changing, and then when I get in, I actually change instead of adding it? That's a possibility, right? Anyway, Supreme Court gets them on that technicality. But what's even much more funny is that the other party was allowed to do some few changes. Like, this country. But what's even more funny, the same justice system, there were these videos that were circulating on social media of the entire motorcade of the justices leaving State House. I was like, the other week, innit? The other week. What killed me? On Sunday is when the judicial bodies that govern our courts decided to come out and give a clarification on that video. And they explained as to why the judges were in the vicinity of the president's being. One, they had gone to swear in a judge, who, by the way, in case in point, if you didn't know, can be sworn in by anyone of higher ranking than him, not necessarily the president. Two, what was the second thing that he had gone to do? Oh yeah, Bishop Janan Luwumde. He was invited by another bishop, so the Chief Justice showed up, and it was not in secret. My question is, why are you even explaining yourselves after a full week of nothing? You could have just shut up and let it go. Leave us to keep up with the speculations. Like, God, there are too many apologies in this damn country. I'm done with it. Anyway, moving forward, Wyke Brenda. Wyke, I said this. I'll keep saying it. Nigga, please dress up. Dress up. Dress the fuck up. How can I sing it? Do you want it to be a solo, an a cappella? Dress up. Your body was not meant for us to see it like that. Yeah, you're the type of guy we can bump into at the beach with a shirt off and not pay any attention to you. But you, being a musician and a celebrity, we kind of believe you're supposed to kind of look like a god out here with your tiny man boobs. He looks like akawala kemiaka 12 ngakagenda okugira obube. Huh? Then you have that annoying Ugandan man belly. Abali embizi. Ne bioba manyi. Ibrato seka chimanyi oba manyi abagayi baffe. Baba ina akabuto kabwe nga katudde wano. Nga mutini buli wamu naye nga akabuto. Kala kawaiki ko nakalabidde muno mu side. Nigga, dress up. Dress up. And on top of that, look at this small. This like for Solomon. And then you also took time out, huh? To take a photo and let it go on social media, looking like that. Someone has said, I'm done. My issue was not with anything else. And if you dare tell me this is body shaming, go stick it up yours. Because, Mama Brenda, Yambala Brenda. I don't mind when you have a mushasha body, it's even worse. Then like a small Jesus. This was the president of musicians. Can you imagine? Imagine someone comes from another country and they're like, so I'm in Uganda, I want to do music. Who's the president of the musicians around here who I can talk to? And then you bring out that photo of Wyke Brenda. And you think they will want to be a part? muli sitaani tuveeyo n'okuvaayo. You remember when we sat here and we told you, last week actually, the last episode I put up, I was questioning COVID cases in the country. This same week, I think I saw somewhere where we only had 1 case in a day in Kampala. Next thing I know, I'm opening the Daily Monitor. Headline, like a marquee. They're like, COVID cases go down. So, you want to tell me, emigo je mwakuba abantu mu campaign jakola. I'm so proud, by the way. Olaba emigo je baba kubanga mwenna Ibra. Simanya mugenda kugoberera Kyagulanyi kibooko emigo nga jayaka. And the main word was SOPs, COVID-19. And now after this whole election process, but dear, I would like to sit with all my fellow Ugandans and say, we are among the few African countries winning this. 1 case like this in a day in Kampala. You're joking. Thank you for washing your hands, Uganda. Thank you for wearing your mask. Thank you for distancing. Thank you for... We have... Ibra, with what you have seen, don't you think we have beaten COVID? The report is there. We are... Magufuli needs to come and ask us. Magufuli needs to talk to us clearly. Abatanzania yetaaga asooka abakubemu bitiyagaasi, emigo, abagobe okuva Kalangala mpaka egundi. COVID ajagenda gosaga. Wafa agenda. At this rate, I don't even know if we need AstraZeneca. Wait. But since, okay, now that we're on that COVID conversation and the cases have gone down, dear Mr. President, we are not saying can you open bars because they never closed. They have been open. Yeah, they have been open. If you think I'm lying, ask Mr. Nanga if he doesn't know of a bar somewhere in Kulambiro. It never closed. During COVID, it never, not even once, not one. Tamujimanye bale, bobo bere Kulambiro manye bala lya Stanley. Party, day and night. That's why I can confidently say bars never closed. But of course, they'll come and tell me, that is not a bar, it is a restaurant. Oh, wow. Me too, when I go to have breakfast at a bar, rather at a restaurant, I leave at 4 a.m. the next day, yeah. So anyway, Mr. President, the bars are open. We're just trying to say, can you just put it in writing, Ugandan style? Yeah, just put it in writing and tell them the bars are open. Secondly, since the COVID cases are really down, I don't think we should even usher the kids back in the way we're ushering them back in. I say let them all come back. We're beating this thing. What are you saying? Also, since the COVID cases have gone down, and clearly we know, curfew is one of the reasons why COVID has gone down. Curfew go be COVID here Uganda. So now that COVID is going down, not gone, it's going down. Can we please lift the curfew time? Okay, already we were not following the 9 p.m. Have you ever gone home at 9 p.m.? I've been coming home at 2 a.m., 4 a.m., and usually it's from like a fancy bar, and I'm drunk to my feel. So, we're just saying, do the same thing for the curfew like you're going to do for the bars. Not that they're closed, just put it in writing, because I don't think we need this curfew anymore. We don't. Do we need it? Do we need this curfew, honestly? Abenzi bachayenda. Abagenda mabala bachagenda mabala. Abayina businesses abwe bachazikola. Abayina okuvuga bagende mu byalo bakole be bakola bachabikola. So what's the point of leaving them in place? Those are just my humble thoughts. But then again, Uganda. Don't forget, wash your hands, sanitize, social fucking distance, and watch these numbers. Oh, I am watching them. Lero bayinza tugamba twafunye half a person with COVID. Because last time it was one person, so half a person. Half a person had COVID. Uganda. Yo, this is a touchy subject that everybody kept forwarding to me in my WhatsApp, and kept telling me, Tina, it's very, very it's very, very sensitive. You can't talk about this. These are the things that get you killed. These are the things that they send the drone for. So there's this video that's been going around. I happen to watch it on different Facebook platforms. Most of them are actually Noop supporters. And this video has apparently an undercover documentary series about North Korea having a plant base here, or like a base here where they're manufacturing weapons of mass destruction. I was like, wait, which film is this now? Hey bro, did you feel like that was a film? Yo, I could pay you $1 or a dime or a cent or a penny or $1,000,000. That nigga who was talking as the broker really looked like some cut they had looked for. And they told him, so here are your lines. You will talk like this, you will walk like this, you will act like this. On a scale of 1 to 10, hit me up in the comment section. How many of you actually believe that that video going viral is actually true? I, for one, I'm going to blatantly say it. For me, it's not. For me, it looks acted out. But if anybody can send me further evidence that states otherwise, because man, I've been in this TV thing for too long. I know something when it's written and when it's not. Ibra, don't you? Don't you? Even when it has good believability, we can tell. So I feel like it's about time we actually talked about this, because the government is talking about it, but we don't care much for them. This is between me and you, the people. We are in a time where there's different entities. Everybody has chosen a place. Everybody has chosen a side. But now I want for us, the people, to choose the side of sanity. Not everything that comes on social media we should jump onto. And don't even begin that nonsense of Tina Yalide. No, Salide. I don't like this government. I can't say it any further. I'm a poster child of everything wrong with this government. You know, I am very opposition. I'm proud about it. But then again, we're not going to cause unnecessary panic. Here's what I want my opposition people to do. Or here's how I want my whistleblowers to come out. Genuinely, legitimately, with enough evidence. You're not just going to get a video like that, shove it down my throat, and have me taking a boda to head to Kalangala. Right? Like, we all have a struggle. We all want better for this government. We all want better for us as a people. We all feel, not all of us, particular people feel, yes, you need different governance. We all feel these things. But let one thing remain clear. As we're feeling all these emotions and as we're following all these things, let us have the spirit of discernment within us. Because at the end of the day, dear Ugandan citizen, you and I are the collateral damage. And you and I are the people that the politicians are going to use to start up whatever agenda they have. So I need for you as an individual to guard yourself jealously from the beliefs of the followings of other people. I need you as an individual to stand your ground and say, this is what I believe in as an individual. This cockroach theory of following everybody who is going rah, 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 rah. Idea, it's going to get us because it is going to make us, we're going to be collateral damage. So this one, this is from a citizen to another citizen. A lot is going to be put up. And if you want to have an example why I tell you to guard your mind jealously with what you're watching and what you're taking in from the different camps and different entities, look at America. QAnon. QAnon started like a small rumor, just a bunch of conspiracy theorists who just, they like to think about things differently. Before we know it, QAnon is actually a big issue. Before we know it, they're asking the 45th president of the United States of America to talk about QAnon. And he believes in it. Before we know it, these guys are actually a full-fledged, huge conspiracy theorist group with their own agendas. Before we know it, they're storming the damn Capitol. We can't say it was QAnon that did that, QAnon, but you get my drift here. You could end up being collateral damage for some issue that you don't even know. So like I always tell you, do not be a pawn in a game you were not invited to play in. Never. This one is for each one of you, all of you watching this. All these different parties are going to bring up distractions. All these different parties are going to bring up evidence. All these different parties are going to have a political structure. All these different parties are going to have a plan B for their plan B on how to either get into power or get out of power or get someone into power. You know how it goes. You, the citizen, are automatically always the collateral damage. Now think about that. Just think about that. With all your beliefs still intact, just think about it. Because if that video was watched by 10 people, who shared it by 10 people, who shared it again by another 10, and then those also shared it to another 10 and another 10, you get my drift. You have people believing in something that they can't ascertain of how true it is. But like I said, I have not disregarded it. I'm just saying, as me, Tina, I'm sorry, it doesn't seem authentic, but we're waiting. We're waiting. We're trying to do the breakdown. I'm trying to do the breakdown of it, and we'll get to the bottom of it. And meanwhile, we're still scared of the North Koreans being part of our home. But have y'all seen the Chinese? Yesterday, what was his name? A representative for the Chinese head of state touched down in my country. What else are they going to give us this time? What? How much do we owe? Did he come to remind us, Bagai, but Babanja sent a nyinji? What up? Times I keep thinking we might actually be doing modern day slavery. And the Chinese are the slave master, but we just don't know it. Think about it. They have a huge ass population. They are everywhere, and their money has no boundaries. But most importantly, they love to help. Oh, they are too helpful. That for me is a problem. That for me, it takes me back to the times of the colonials, the colonial era. They looked like they were ready to help in a stitch of time. But actually what they were doing is they had come to pick what they wanted to pick. So they came here, they're like, oh my goodness, y'all don't have a civilization. We're here to help. Here, take this Bible. While you're reading it, I'm going to rob you clean. Or better yet, here, y'all don't even know civilization like that. Okay, for you to be compared or to be thought of as a human being, first of all, you're going to have to learn our language, English. Secondly, you're going to have to pray to our God, Jesus or God. Thirdly, you're going to have to pretty much let us run your world because y'all are too young a civilization. You don't know shit. That's what it feels like for me now. Because that's what the white man did. Now it's not a white man. He's an Oriental. Times do change. Anyway. Before I can even go, that's what has happened this week. I don't feel like I want to expound on so many other things. Thank you for the feedback on YouTube. Oh my goodness, it is so mind-blowing. You guys, when I start that journey of thanking you, I never stop. So thank you for that. And most important, oh, by the way, Ngasina Sibula. Brian White wa ulide aliati. Someone told me Medicine Tongo is in Nashing. Apparently he has a barber shop. Yezeyo mkusala envi. Nesi tani nga yako siviyeko. Akuwa buumbi. 10 noddayo mukusala enviri mu 2021 COVID. Ego saga. Meanwhile nga go wazibba naye. Ali eri akyusa bu boyfriends. Oh, life is good. Oh, Mehdi, you played yourself. I feel sorry for Mehdi though. I do, but I don't think he's that broke. I think people are exaggerating. Like he's broke, but I don't think he's MC Hammer broke. Or Mike Tyson broke when Mike Tyson was broke. He could be that broke, and that's not broke. That's, well, get by. We'll get by. And all those socialites who kept quiet. But now, I'm South Africa. But catch the punk. But che you ne. Ndako. Ndege kazamo kama yaliwa. Promise? Petty Betty is not coming out today. Let me stop this conversation right here. But anyway, in case you have a couple of other things you want to expound on, it's quite simple. Hit me up in any of my comment sections. And of course, for all of you who want to do advertising with us, there is a number appearing down in this scroll. That's the number to call. Come give us some business. Let's grow your business together. Not forgetting this particular episode was sponsored by Notri. This episode was proudly sponsored by Nutri-Cologne Cleanser. Now, for all of you who are wondering what it is, now, colon cleansing is you cleaning out your colon. If you don't know your colon, echenda. So basically, it stores up so much stuff over the years, and if you don't clean it out, it could cause you cancers, it could cause you very many other different situations. So what you do with this colon, it's herbal-based, it's plant-based, so it has no advanced, what are they called, side effects per se. So yeah, you should check out their website. That's www.Nutri Cleanser. Hey Jesus, what is wrong? Ay. No, but yes, that photo you're seeing, check out their website, you know, because I see most of you asking me about them. They helped me. I actually used it, so I'm speaking of product that I have actually used personally. That said, I'm finna see you anytime soon. Who knows? I mean, there could be some shit that's about to pop up, and we can do that. Is there anything you feel we have forgotten? Ibra, anything? A big shout out, by the way, to Anchor Mo. So I never send shout outs to other YouTubers because I feel most of the content I find on YouTube from Ugandan YouTubers is so boring. But big shout out to Anchor Mo. If any of you have gone to his YouTube, Jesus, his last episode was such an embodiment of what it means to be a Ugandan. He was like, Ugandans, we are so used to disappointment. Like, disappointment is small. Huh? Small. There's nothing that disappoints Ugandans. So you think cancelling events will disappoint us? Even reminded me how, I'd forgotten. Remember when Wizkid cancelled the show on us and told us he got a running stomach in the morning? And then after the show didn't happen, Wizkid has the audacity to tell us that he'll give us 2 free shows, which also didn't happen, and we were okay. When he gave that analogy, I felt like, so for all of you who want some like dope, funny content, just check out I Am Anchor Mo. That's his on his YouTube, you know. His real name though, he has a real nice name, Chiboneka. Don't come for me, Uncle Mo. I'm just sending shout outs. Anyway, that said, I'll do this again when I can. At Tinavius1, all the platforms. In case you want to advertise and you can't use the number, you can always send anything to our different DMs. We got you there. For now, it's been my time. Catch you around. I'm out. Peace.